How are you?
Hey, Linda.
All right. Greetings, everyone.
Nice.
That gave me an excuse to ring the bell one last time. All right, greetings, everyone. Welcome to the final meeting of the 2020-2021 year for the Rotary Club of Raleigh. The pandemic year. Let's hope this is a one-off and we don't have a repeat engagement of this particular year in the life of our world and country and Rotary Club. But it has been such a wonderful year in terms of the support and the friendship that all of you all have provided as members of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. And we are all certainly in the leadership on the board of directors so grateful to all of you for sticking with us throughout this interesting year. We have a lot of ground to cover today. There's going to be a new membership reading. We're going to have some Paul Harris Fellow announcements. And of course, we're going to have our opportunity to thank this year's officers and directors and to install the new leadership team under the able leadership of Charles Edwards. And so we will get this thing started as we always do with the invocation and pledge from Richard Watkins, who arrived just in time.
Oh, hopefully everyone is doing well today. I was late because I was hoping to put this off for as long as possible because I think this is, hard. Because my entry into the Rotary Club of Raleigh was this entry into the director of club administration during an unprecedented time, but I had the absolute pleasure and privilege of working through this unprecedented time with an amazing leader, Eric Stevens. And so at this moment, I just thought the thing that was appropriate is there's just a short poem that I would just like to read for you today that goes, "It's the ending of an era, a dawning of a new day, the finish of a chapter, and the start of a new page. To see the time go by so fast, it's hard to look at the past. Life is shorter than you think, so have fun and don't let it stink. The ending of an era is almost here. To look and see that the future is near. Looking forward with eyes not necessarily filled with fear, only to know that sometimes the future is unclear. It's the ending of an era, a dawning of a new day, the finish of a chapter, and with new leadership, the turning of a new page." Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Eric, so much for your leadership. Thank you all for working together to get us through this unprecedented time. I am blessed to be with each and every one of you, and thank you all so much. Now, would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, forever winds of grain, o'er purple mountains majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, thee, and crown thy good with growth, from sea to shining sea. Thank you all very much. Welcome to Rotary.
Thank you so much, Richard. All right, let's start by introducing our guests and visitors today. I will start by introducing my family, if y'all would mind standing up. My wife, Susan, my daughter, Julia, and my son, Philip. Thank you. And who else has a guest? Yes.
Yes, my guest today is Sandra Wagner, and she's in real estate brokerage.
All right. Do you have any other guests in the house? Okay. And how about on the video screen?
He's waving. But there's no chat.
We'll consider Charlie a long timer and not a guest. Next, I do want to encourage all of you to put some dollars in the cart bucket for Alzheimer's research. It's a good thing we're back here in person so we can actually reach into our wallets and put something into that bucket. And that is very important research that's being done. I'm glad we're able to get back to contributing in person. Upcoming, we of course have no meeting next week for the July 4th holiday. And for the following week, July 12th, Carlotta Daniels from the NCDOT is going to be here. And so please join us on the 12th for that. Now I have a special announcement. I think Jim is actually on the Zoom call from Switzerland right now, but Jim Dorsett has officially become a grandfather. And his daughter Elise and her husband Marco welcomed Thomas Dorsett Lavati. And I saw some amazing photos of their visit to Switzerland and of course the happy new family. So congratulations to them.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we have some birthdays to celebrate. I think Frank McNally is here. Happy birthday, Frank. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Lee Hammond, Sandra Long, Bill Sigmund. Bill is in the house. And Sevelyn Smith. We miss Sevelyn's singing lately. Not that we don't do our best to get along without her. And happy anniversary to Holmes, Hardin, and Sarah, to John and Nancy Brothers, to Braxton and Mary Frances Wilson, to Scott and Sheila Hensley. I know Scott is here. To Louis and Sharon Rogers, and to Frank and Debbie McNally. So I hope all of you all have a wonderful birthday and anniversary celebrations. And next, I'm going to ask Harrison to come up and do a first reading for our new member, Eduardo.
Hello, everybody. So I'm not Christy. I'm Harrison Turner. For those of you who don't know me, I am Harrison Turner. I'll be taking over coming up this, I guess starting today, at the end of today, we'll be going as the new membership director. So if I have not met you yet, or you don't know who I am or don't recognize me because of the mustache, hello, everybody. And hello, everybody to Zoom. Good to see y'all as well. Before we do the first reading, I really wanted to say very quickly how honored and blessed I am to be able to serve as the membership chair going into this next year. Rotary has meant a lot to me. I was 2 years ago brought to Rotary, kind of drug here from somebody that I worked with that said, hey, have you ever been to a Rotary meeting? And I said, no. And that kind of led on to just how much Rotary has impacted my life. So quick hand, raise your hand if Rotary has impacted your life in a good possible way. It's pretty much everybody in this room, right? So I would like to say, as we go on into this next calendar year, ask yourself, why Rotary? In the world that we live in that has so many things that are going on, pulling us in so many directions, why Rotary? Rotary has truly meant the world to me, especially this past year, seeing men and women come together during the pandemic to continue to meet, find creative ways to affect our community for good, and to continue to live service above self. So I really want to challenge each of you to think about what is your why, and then think about telling somebody about Rotary, and then introducing them to this group, because it's a great group of people. So with that, we have a new membership reading today. If I mess this up, my name is Christy. It's good to meet you. So we have a first reading today for a potential new member, Eduardo Rodriguez. Eduardo, if you quickly stand up for us. Thank you so much. To give you a little background on Eduardo, he has over 17 years of banking experience, ranging from banking as being a mortgage processor to a financial center manager, and recently joining PNC as the commercial banking relationship manager for corporate and institutional banking. In addition to this, he's not new to Rotary. He has been a Rotarian for 5 years now, and was recently the past president of the Apex Rotary Group. So great wealth of knowledge coming with him. I had the opportunity to have lunch with Eduardo recently. It was encouraged by his passion for Rotary and his passion for seeing change in our community and how we can affect change in our community. So if you haven't had a chance to meet Eduardo, please see him after the meeting and introduce yourself. But that's it. Yes. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Harrison, and it has been a pleasure getting to know you, Eduardo. Looking forward to having you as a member of our club. All right, next, at this point, I would like to call Eric Larson up to present a couple of Paul Harris Fellow Awards.
Thank you, President Eric. And as a surprise, Carrie, would you come up here, please? While Carrie is coming up, we're honoring 2 new Paul Harris Fellows today. It's rare that you get to honor 2 of your personal heroes at the same time, but I get to do that today. First in the Zoomiverse is Mark Hackett. Mark is a personal hero of mine. He taught me the sales business at IBM and mentored me along the way, and has been a good business professional and Rotary friend for a number of years. And Carrie is my daughter and a great member of this club. And at the end of this Rotary year and the beginning of the next, her mother and father thought it would be really cool for her to be a Paul Harris Fellow. So we're doing that today. What a Paul Harris Fellow is, for those who aren't totally familiar with it, it's when someone gives a significant contribution to the Rotary International Foundation, so work can be done around the world on behalf of people who need it and by Rotarians. And we'd like to talk about some of those works each time. We're going to talk about the country of Belize today. And in Belize, young children with heart problems have a very difficult time getting care for that. So the Rotarians in Belize City partnered with Rotarians in Arturus, California, and Tampa, Florida, to raise funds to help these children. And by doing that, they were able to fund US doctors to go to Belize, arrange for air transport and ambulance transport for the children so they could get diagnostic tests done and then surgery where needed to take care of that for 300 children in Belize. So that's the kind of work that Rotary is doing around the world. I believe Mark is online somewhere. I'm not sure if we can make his picture show up. He either has his materials or will be receiving them soon. And I'll ask President Eric if he would present to Carrie her recognition of her Paul Harris Fellow. And as our tradition is, if you would please rise and congratulate our newest Paul Harris Fellow.
Congratulations to Carrie and Mark, and thank you for those kind donations. Next, some of you all know Nicolette Fulton. She is going to be our new Director of Service coming up. She has an announcement.
Hello, everyone, and if you don't know me, hello, my name is Nicolette Fulton. For those who do know me, thank you for this incredible honor of being your next service director. No, I'm not Gina, the hair is brown, not blonde. But it is an incredible honor to be your next service director. Service is what brought me to Rotary, and so the fact that you all are trusting me as your service director is just so heartwarming and such a privilege. Thank you. Upcoming, thank you to Sarah Reeves, who has given us this fantastic opportunity to be exclusive Dorothea Dix Park Sunflower Ambassadors on July 24th. This is only open to Rotarians on this date. How fantastic is that? So if you want to sign up, we have 2 times available, and there is a link in the newsletter and a link that will be going out via email as well. So please feel free to sign up. Look forward to seeing everyone there.
Thank you, Nicolette. I was involved in some service with Nicolette back with the Bar Association a while back, and it's great to kind of to be involved in service with you here with Rotary now, and excited about this first opportunity for a project under Nicolette's leadership. We were over at the Dix Park recently, and the sunflowers are already growing, looking nice. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't been to the Dix Park when the sunflowers are blooming, it's pretty special. Okay. At this point, I do want to recognize one other guest that we have here today, and that is our district governor, David Hayden. You know, my leadership year really got started back at the PETS training in March of 2020. Yeah. And it was right before everything shut down, and he was telling us about all these amazing, exciting things that were going to happen. Like there was going to be an installation ceremony at an exotic car club, and there was going to be a district conference in Wilmington, and all kinds of things that kind of got turned sideways a little bit by the pandemic. And the whole district had to pivot, and under David's leadership, you know, we all pivoted really well, and it's been an excellent year for Rotary. So thank you so much, David, for your leadership, and we're looking forward to having you be the person to get us started for our next Rotary year. So thank you for being here. And Bill, did you want to say something?
I'd like to interrupt and say something about, I just got back from Alaska for 4 days of fishing. And I fought off the grizzly bears, wolves, all kinds of things. It was just really a wild place. And I got invited by that man right there. And I learned a side of him that really makes me proud for him to be our district governor. And we had some good times. I have a lot of pictures that I'll sell for you. But here's $20 for David Hayden and our district governor. And good old last.
All right, at this point, we want to have some special recognitions for service and for various things that members of the club have done for us and for our community this year. And I want to start with honoring the members of our club who we lost over the course of the year. And we will miss them greatly. Wilson Heyman, who was a member since 1985, passed away. Sam McNary, a member since 1986. And of course, just recently, Bill Simpson, who was a member. I'm not that young really, but he was a member since before I was born in 1963. So these were just wonderful, wonderful Rotarians, people that I looked up to, and I know all of you did, people who totally believed in service above self and lived on that as a way to live. And people who were dedicated to and who loved our club. And we're all that much richer for having known and been club members with them, and we will miss them very much. All right, at this point, I'm going to ask all of the past presidents of the club to stand up and be recognized. So Lawrence Davis, Randy Frazier, Jim Dorsett, over there, stand up, Jim. Ron Garber, Dave Gospodarek, Dana Johnson, Charles King, Bill Lambeth, Bill McLaurin. Actually, Wilson Heyman was on this list. Wilson, if you're up there, stand up. Robert McMillan, Racine Mitchell Sinclair, Mary Moss, Cindy Roberts, Lewis Rogers, Bill Simpson, Kevin Summers, Charlie Upshaw. I know Charlie, I saw you. Can you stand up for us, Charlie? Kurt Warner and Reagan Weaver. One thing you learn when you are the current president of the club is how much you lean on and appreciate the support of all the past presidents. All of these people, have such a wealth of knowledge and care so much about this club. And anytime, I needed anything, I could call on any member of this distinguished group of people and know that they would give me the help I need. So thanks to all of you all. Let's give them all a round. Okay, next, we're going to recognize the Rotary members who have had 25 plus years of service, and there's quite a few of you. So please stand up if you're here, or if you are on the Zoom, stand up where you are. Lawrence Davis, 37 years. Charles Edwards. Charles is on there.
I am. Well,
Okay.
before.
Oh, there's the before and the after. I see. Yes, Charles Edwards. What is your total years of service?
It's about 29.
All right, Randy Frazier, please stand up. 35 years. Ron Garber, 36 years. Dave Gospodarek, 34 years. Stu Gully, 39 years. Lee Hammond, 28 years. Wilson Heyman again, 34 years. Charles King, 35 years. Bill Lambeth, 36 years. Eric Larson, 31 years. Sandra Long, 30 years. Bill McLaurin, 42 years. Robert McMillan, 62 years. Great to see him last week. Surrey Roberts, 43 years. Sam McNary was a member of the club for 33 years. Bill Simpson was a member of the club for 57 years. Catherine Stewart, 28 years. Charlie Upshaw, 35 years. And Reagan Weaver, 33 years. Looking forward to seeing all those numbers increase. All right, next we have the Perfect Attendance Awards. And I'm going to ask all of you who had perfect attendance to come up. And I've got a special certificate for you. And we will start Lawrence Davis. Long set of awards. be my last village as president. You got Lawrence Davis. Charles Edwards. Randy Frazier. I'll catch you in a minute.
I guess I didn't graduate.
Bill McLaurin. Mary Moss. Terry Reeves. And Sarah Reeves, you want to pass that along? Eric Stevens, I'll take it. Charlie Upshaw, if I can pass it through the Zoom, I would. Richard Watkins. And Gina Yacombe, we could hand it to her in Africa. Randy, I'm going to find your award. Here we go. You know, perfect attendance during a pandemic when it's, you know, joining in by Zoom for 36 Zoom meetings, I think that we had, and then 6 in-person / Zoom meetings. That's pretty good work. So thanks to all of you for your dedication, for caring enough about us to do that that many times and to participate. We really appreciate how much all of you all care for and support. All right. And Eric, did you want to announce the well, I would.
You have the list.
Okay, I have the list. Very quickly, we're going to announce these are the names of all of the people who have won, who have earned Lester Woodall Awards. Please stand if your name is read. Gene Boyles, Pete Coney, Mike Condrey, Jim Dorsett, Charles Edwards, Bonnie Elam, Mark Hackett, Lee Hammond, Tom Holder, Duncan Jennings, Dana Johnson, Chris Jones, Lynn Jordan, Alex Kensinger, Eric Larson, Mark Livingston, Carolyn Manis, Bill McLaurin, Racine Mitchell Sinclair, Linda Monahan, Mary Moss, Tom Packer, Dave Fermar, Terry Reeves, Sarah Reeves, Cindy Poole Roberts, Surrey Roberts, Bill Rohr, Kevin Summers, Eric Stevens, Catherine Stewart, Carolyn Suffern, Harrison Turner, Charlie Upshaw, Martin Worf, Kirk Warner, Reagan Weaver, and Braxton Wilson. And we also want to thank everyone in the club who is a Paul Harris Fellow. So here is that list. Please stand again if you hear your name. David Ammons, Mark Blake, Gene Boyles, John Brothers, Jim Kane, Pete Ciccone, David Coates, Michael Condrey, John Connell, Carl Davis, Lawrence Davis, Jim Dorsett, Charles Edwards, Bonnie Elam, David Forrest, Randy Frazier, Ron Garber, Dave Gospodarek, Jim Graham, Stu Gully, Mark Hackett, Lee Hammond, Holmes Harden, Tom Holder, Robin Hudson, Gregory Hunt, Duncan Jennings, Dana Johnson, Patrick Johnson, Chris Jones, Tommy Kelleher, Charles King, Bill Lambeth, Eric Larson, Mark Livingston, Sandra Long, John Martin, Bill McLaurin, Robert McMillan, Frank McNally, Christine Mitchell Sinclair, Mary Moss, James Penry, David Permar, Randy Proctor, Charles Reeves, Terry Reeves, Sarah Reeves, Cindy Poole Roberts, Surrey Roberts, Bill Rohr, Bill Sigmund, Kevin Summers, Catherine Stewart, Mike Toddy, Charles Upshaw, Martin Wharf, Kirk Warner, Reagan Weaver, Braxton Wilson, and Randy Woodson. Thanks to all of you. All right, at this point, I would like to call up to the stage here our outgoing officers and board members. And actually, I believe that there are none of them here to come up. So at this point, I do want to thank our outgoing board members who are all unable to make it today. I want to start with Alex Kensinger. She was our director of fundraising, and she just did a wonderful job. If you guys remember, whoever participated in those, we had the 2 wine tasting fundraisers. I don't think I've ever seen a more buzzed group of Rotarians. The nice thing is that we were all at home. Nobody had to drive anywhere, and we raised some great money for some great causes. She also, led the, there was a trivia fundraiser, and that one was a lot of fun too. She came up with some really creative ways to keep us having fun, to keep us raising money, to keep us doing Rotary kind of things when we couldn't be within 6 feet of each other or in the same room together. So, great job, Alex. We will miss having you as our fundraising director. We've also already said thanks last week to Christy Magicana in membership. She did a great job keeping our membership numbers up, organizing a lot of great socials. We had the last one last week at Sam Jones Barbecue. Thanks again to Christy. Let's give both of them a hand. And on the Zoom there, another outgoing board member is past president Jim Dorsett. Jim was a great president. He was a great past president. He did, he gave me a lot of great advice. He was very instrumental in the vocational service awards, and just a great person to bounce things off. So thanks to you, Grandpa Jim.
Thank you. Thank you, President Eric. And I just would like to say what an honor it was to serve with you and Charles and Tom and all members of the board for these past several years. And what a great job I think you have done during this past year, during this pandemic time. And we've got great leadership coming in with Charles and Tom and Carrie. And so I couldn't be more proud of the club. And I just want to bring greetings from Zurich, Switzerland, and tell you how happy and proud I am to be a new grandfather. And at this time, I actually need to go assist in putting to bed the very energetic young Thomas Dorset Lavati. So I will have to leave you at this point, but I just want to thank you so much for such a great year. And thank you for everything. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.
At this point, I'm going to ask the officers, the board members who will serve again next year, if you'll just come on up and want to say a word of thanks to each of you. We'll start with our soon-to-be president, Charles Edwards. Charles has been, a terrific right-hand man this year, has done such a great job covering for me when I wasn't able to be there, planning for next year. We had the visioning meetings, back in the fall, and the club could not be in better hands for next year. So, Charles, thank you again. Tom Packer, our president-elect, Tom, you inherited a club that was, had a couple of operating deficits in the prior years. As the treasurer, you did a great job kind of turning the ship around financially during this challenging pandemic year. We, have a balance book in the black. We managed to persuade all of you all to pay your dues, even when you couldn't come here to lunch. And we thank you so much for that. We have, we're in a great financial condition with our endowment account, 672 some thousand in the account. Tom was a steady hand in everything that we did this year. He's involved in all of the planning, all of the decisions that we made. The owl here, Tom was instrumental in our having the owl. So for those of you who were able to watch us from home, you can thank Tom and Charles, but Tom particularly for that. Thank you so much to Tom, the treasurer, and he's also incoming new treasurer, Charlie Davis.
Sir, can I just say one?
Sure.
Just, as treasurer, I didn't get to say very much. I just wanted to make sure that I said as outgoing treasurer and incoming president-elect how much Saracen said Rotary is meant to me, and what an honor it's been to serve under the steady and sensible leadership of the man to my left, Eric, all year, who led us through a very interesting and difficult year. And I'm also very excited about the great ideas that Charles has for the upcoming year. And the retreat we had was fantastic, and it's going to be another challenging year as we reemerge. But I guess as treasurer, I wanted to, well, Leslie, my wife and I wanted to put our money where my mouth is, and we'll be making a in recognition of both Eric's past great leadership and Charles' leadership to come a $2,000 donation to our foundation. And that will get us off to a good start for the coming year.
We keep getting closer and closer to that day when Eric Larson can retire.
We just increased it to 2 million.
Next, I want to give a special word of thanks to Richard Watkins. Richard, came on as our new director of administration this year, and this was the first time that we combined the roles of the person who's sort of in charge of securing our speakers with the role of the person that provides the invocation and does all of that. And so for you guys can be doubly thankful to the extent that you enjoyed or were able to get something out of those 36 meetings that we had online. Richard, deserves an awful lot of the credit for that because, we had a great array of speakers and you always let us off just with the perfect words of wisdom and the right mix of emotion and thoughtfulness. I really can't thank you enough for making it pretty easy for me to do what I did, leading the meetings after, you got us started off on that good foot. So thank you. For making the meetings go well. We owe a special debt of gratitude to Valerie Evans. I don't know if you're gonna be able to stand up and even leave. I heard from a lot of people from other clubs particularly that they were really impressed with the presentation of our Zoom meetings, and that a lot of the credit goes to Valerie for that. So, all of the PowerPoints that you see at these meetings, the newsletters that get sent out before the meetings, that's a lot of hard work from Valerie. And, the proof of how helpful that is how much we scramble when you're not here. So thank you so much, Valerie. Next we have Eric Larson, if you want to come up, the head of our foundation. Eric, has always has done just a great job stewarding our foundation and coming up here and recognizing the contributions. We're doing it online of the people who earn their Lester Woodall and Paul Harris Society memberships. One of the things that you realize if you're on the board is that Eric does such a thoughtful job of deciding how is the best way to spend that money that we have. And, I'm going to go over that a little bit, what we've done this year. But, an awful lot of proposals for what organizations we support, and for an awful lot of what we do with our foundation is due to some very deep thought from Eric. And then, it gets discussed with the board, and a lot of things get decided that way. And he's made a difference in our community with some of the decisions he's helped us make. And it certainly has been, really fortunate for me as the president of a club like this to have, one of the top executive coaches around for me to call and bend his ear. And so far, I haven't even gotten into this. So I'm very grateful for all of your, help and support. Particularly, a couple of the more tough decisions that I've had to make over the past year. Eric was right there, kind of helping to guide me through it. I really appreciate that, Eric. Next, I'd like to bring up Elsa Silverman, our secretary. Elsa has been such a great, enthusiastic secretary. She's kept track of the minutes of our board meetings, which I have not been good at keeping them from going long, so she has a lot to write down. Thank you so much, Elsa. She has also just been, such a integral part of all of the decisions that we've made, and she has been extremely helpful in helping us keep our ties with the Southeast Raleigh Rotary Club. In addition to going to, having perfect attendance at our meetings, she attended an awful lot of the Southeast Raleigh Rotary Club's meetings. So that was above and beyond the call of duty. Really appreciate everything you've done for us this year also. And then Harrison Turner, if you want to come back up. Harrison, had the exciting opportunity to try to shepherd our, Interact and Rotaract clubs during a pandemic when nobody was in school. Harrison, that getting thrown into that your first year, as the New Generations chair was very tricky, but you pulled it off with, style, and you got everything all set up for hopefully school to start back up, and for us to kind of just pick right back up with all of those relationships. You brought in, a great new person to take your place there, and we're looking forward to having you as our new membership director. So thank you so much, Harrison, for all you've done. Mark Hackett is on the Zoom, and Mark was our director at large, which is sort of perfect because he was just such a great person to have to sort of just handle anything and everything that we needed to take care of. He was just a fantastic board member in every way. He also, attended most of the Southeast Raleigh Rotary Club meetings and was instrumental in all of the different ways that we work together with the Southeast Raleigh Club. And he was invaluable in working with Gina on all of our different service projects, particularly the April 17th Day of Service. Really kind of was a great yin to Gina Yacone's yang in terms of the way that whole thing worked together when we put that together. And Mark, I don't think, like Eric Larson, doesn't make a living being an executive or a leadership coach, but could, I think. Mark is just a person that has an infinite store of wisdom, and anything that needed to be, anytime I had a tough decision to make, he was another person that I really wanted to bounce it off of. So thank you so much, Mark, for all you did. And then, of course, we have Gina Yacone, who we recognized last week, who did a great job as the leader of the Day of Service and is taking a well-needed vacation in Africa at the moment. So please give a hand to all of your. And thank you very much. I'm going to make so this is your outgoing, or this is the board of directors that continued from last year. Is that right? So the ones that will continue on for another year. So let's give them all another round of applause. Say a few remarks, y'all can sit down and then come back when David comes to install. All right. So I don't want to spend a lot of your time, but I just wanted to, this is the phase of the meeting where the outgoing president gives a little bit of a year in review, and I do want to keep this very short. But this was obviously a trying year for our country with pandemics, protests, a divisive election, insurrection. A lot was going on this year, but here within our Rotary Club, we kind of kept the faith, and we had a really good year through some difficult times. We had you guys. I just want to thank you so much. We had 42 meetings, 36 of them online, and you guys showed up in great numbers. It was very close. Our people joined our online meetings at similar rates to when they would come in person. And that, again, is a tribute to Richard and some great speakers. We had topical speakers like Ralph Derrick, Damon Sircosta talked about election administration. We had Dr. Butler from Rex Hospital. We had great sports figures like Warren Moon, Coach Matt Doherty, Derek Wittenberg. We had great speakers from business like Michael Languth from RDU Airport, Melania Chertoff from Red Hat, David Meeker from Trophy Brewing, Larry Barbour from North State Bank. Fun meeting last week or a couple of weeks ago from Kai Capro with the Trolley Club. Just a lot of good business speakers, and then we had people like Marianne Baldwin, Ken Howard from the History Museum, Jonathan Frederick from the Science Festival. So I think we had a good slate of meetings, and I appreciate you for joining us. We raised money for lots of good causes. With those wine fundraisers, we beautified Lavelle Moton Park, working with the Southeast Raleigh Club. And so that park now is a much more lovely space for children to come and play, thanks to you all. We continue to provide service through ringing the Salvation Army bell. We enjoyed lots of socials online. We gathered in person, even during the pandemic, at the Art Museum at Dix Park. We continue to raise money such that the value of our Schwab Raleigh Foundation endowment account is now over $672,000. You all gave over $15,000 this year to the Rotary International Foundation. And here is a list of what we have done with that money, how we have supported our community through the foundation this year. There's $5,000 that was used to support the Salvation Army, not counting the additional money that we raised through that Trivia Night fundraiser, which was designated to the Salvation Army. And then I think, over $12,000 that was raised from the Bellwood. So, and then we supported Step Up Ministries, gave them $2,000. We provided $2,000 for a scholarship fund in honor of Eric Elwood. We provided $1,000 for the Uganda solar panel project. We provided $2,129 that was matched by, or $2,000 was matched by the district for that development park project. We gave $1,000 for the MLK food distribution. We provided $2,165 to Wake Smiles, and then there was a $2,000 matching grant. And we supported the Southeast Raleigh Club's fundraiser for the Southeast Raleigh YMCA to the tune of $1,120. And then, of course, there was the April 17 Day of Project, the Day of Service project that all of you all participated in, where we encourage people in Southeast Raleigh to get vaccinated. We cleaned Boys and Girls Club buses. We beautified the Healing Transitions men's campus. We planted roses at the alumni building at St. Augustine's. We painted the Wake Smiles facility. Many of you volunteered at habitats throughout the district. Many of you cleaned up city parks throughout Wake County. Many of you donated books for Wake Up and Read. And then we raised over $7,000 through our virtual fundraising that went to the Boys and Girls Clubs, the Southeast Raleigh Promise, Wake Med Foundation, Oak City Cares, Healing Transitions, Tweens and Technology, benefiting Able to Serve, the Raleigh Dream Center, and Wake Up and Read. So give yourselves a hand for all you did to help support our community during the during this Rotary year. I appreciate all that you did to support our club. Thanks to Jim Dorsett and the prior year's board for leaving us in a good position to serve, for getting the Zoom meeting started. Thanks to everyone again on the board who cheerfully participated. I look in the audience here and I see so many people who were so helpful all year long. Anytime we needed anything. It's just been a wonderful year. I appreciate all the support, and the thing that I've learned through my year of service is that this is a club that people really care about a lot, and you all have invested a lot to kind of keep things going through this year, and I really appreciate it. We've got some work to do, and Charles is going to talk with you about that for next year, but congratulations on the great 2020/2021. I'm going to ask David Hayden to come up and install the new leadership team.
Now, put that down. I'll put it on your paper. Put it down. Stand over here in front and center, please. Thank you. It's always great to be back here at the mothership of Rotary clubs for the state of North Carolina. This was the first club that Rotary planted in North Carolina. I look to y'all to be the standard bearer. Set the bar high, did not disappoint this year. Did this year cause us to have to take a deep breath or what? And I'm going to take the luxury of about 1 minute of your time before we install the officers to recognize your club president. I wasn't here last week because I was escorting Bill. Bill has paid hush money, but what happens in Alaska stays in Alaska. Remember that, Bill? Great friends, great people. Wherever you go with Rotarians, you're always going to be in good company. And this is just another second home for me as far as visiting clubs here in North Carolina. Last week, I couldn't be here to give Gina a pin, but the work she did to help this district prepare for Rotary Service Day was nothing short of a miracle. And she just about wore herself out doing that. And I cannot thank her enough. And I asked Eric, please give her a hero pin. You know, I got those ubiquitous hero pins all over the place. And he gave his pin to her with my comments. So he stood in my shoes. But it's so great to have his family here. I can't tell you how much
this gentleman has done to lead this club this year. You have every reason to be proud of him. And because of his outstanding service, I got him a new hero pin since he took care of Gina. And I wanted to give it to him in front of all of you because this pin was created to recognize Rotarians who exemplify what we expect of our Rotarians, who are always the first to raise your hand or stand up front and lead other Rotarians. It's all about leadership. It's all about camaraderie and having a good time. So Eric, a brand new hero pin. You're my second time, first time I'm giving somebody a 10 point. Congratulations. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. All right. Sat in the back with your two future Rotarians, Gary and Sean, right? Great guys. Get to know these folks. Don't just sit in your usual seat. Get and sit around with people you don't know. That's the beauty of Rotary is we get to network. And so if you don't get to know those two, you are missing out on a lot. I will say Gary has one strike against him because he's good friends with Perk Warner. Kirk's going to Alaska in a month. I got to tell him all the secrets before he gets there. Charles, you're going to be taking over a great club in excellent hands. You got to take it up to the next level because it's way up there this year during a pandemic. I tell everybody when you're no longer a district governor or a past district governor, they refer to you as a PDG. When I see that P, I'm always going to think pandemic district governor. And so when you're a past president, just think pandemic president. Remember that. Okay, I'm going to read off the names of your new incoming board members. You don't need to come up here and line up again. You can stand where you are. If you can't hear me, raise your hand. And then I'll read your oath of office as your new board members for this outstanding club. And so if you're here or in, hey Charlie, if you're here or in La La Land on the video, just stand in place. We want you to stand up. We want to see what you're wearing underneath that shirt. All right, your president will be Charles Edwards. Tom Patrick. Gary Suffolk. Past President Eric. There you are. Treasurer Charles Davis. Membership Harrison Turner. Director of New Generation Brian Robbins. Director of Public Relations Valerie. Director for Service Nicolette Fulton. Director for Club Administration, Richard. Director of Foundation, Eric Larson. The Fundraising Director, Gina. And your Director at Large, Mark Hackett. Okay. Linda, I didn't see you on here. I'm just reading off the list. Linda?
Elsa.
Where? I apologize for missing that. I'm a victim of what I'm getting, so I'm sorry about that. But you are good on it. Good on it. Incoming president. He recognized a member of his board that was not recognized. Good job. Okay, pay attention. I'm going to ask you a question, and there's only one right answer. Are y'all up to it?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. To the president, incoming officers, and directors, you've been elected to the important positions in the administration of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. This is an indication of your esteem, our esteem, and confidence in all of you. We also believe you will uphold the high traditions of our club, that you will give the best of your executive ability to the furtherance of the interest of the club and the carrying forward of the object of Rotary. Will you fulfill the responsibilities of your offices to the best of your ability and in accordance with the bylaws of this club? Say, I will. I hereby declare the new officers and directors installed and give President Charles the symbolic gavel of the transfer of the club's administration. Congratulations. I'm taking a picture of this? No? Oh, there, get a picture. Got this. There's Linda. Got it? Got it. Congratulations, you got right the helm.
Okay, so I only have a short speech. It's about 4 hours, so, go get some more tea and water. Just kidding. But before I do that, there are some presentations. So Tom, will you please come up? Mr. Packer, that's you, yes. So this is a pin that I never got to wear because it was virtual. But this is the president-elect pin, and it's well deserved.
Well, thank you.
So Mr. Davis, come on up.
Charlie, and in turn, I will transfer my treasurer's pin to Charlie, who will now be the man writing the checks.
Eric? You're not done yet. Come on up. So in recognition, there's two things that I want to give you, but I guess I'll do this one first. And it has been a pleasure working with Eric. He's taught me a lot this year on what you do and what you don't do, and if you're in leadership in Rotary. And Tom has already been warned that I like to veer off on occasion, so he will be the one with Elsa who will be trying to steer me back. But in the meantime, in recognition of your role as president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh, please set this plaque on behalf of all of the members of the club for a job well done. He's trying to run away. I see this. Maybe if I gave him the gavel.
You've already got the gavel.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I'll hit you. And also in recognition of your role here as your past president's kid. Well deserved and well done. Thank you.
That's when I was at the Thank you. I have one final announcement, actually. I forgot to mention that we did, in fact, win the presidential citation again this year. So congratulations to us again.
So I do actually I had more that I was going to talk about, but I'm looking at the time and we good Rotarians usually are gone in an hour, right? So I'm going to try and run through this quickly. I put that up. We made a presentation to Eric at a workshop that we held early in June. And I guess it's because of my role as the secretary of the St. Andrews Society of North Carolina, I've got involved in understanding where people come from. And these are some of the reasons why we were successful this year, because of the characteristics that Eric emboldened from his own self. The skill, the vigilance, and the living, especially the living in hope. Living in hope that we would come back together as we have done these past couple of weeks. So thank you very much, Eric. So one of the things that you learn when you become president is you get a lot of stuff from Evanston, Illinois, which is HQ. And a lot of it, you sit back, and this is not my first rodeo running a volunteer club, nor running a company. And I go, really? Is that all you want me to do? Oh, no problem. Well, as you're going to find out in a few minutes, I can't do it all. I don't want to do it all. But that's why we have a club. So there's a series of themes, I guess that's the best word to use it, for this year. The core of which comes from the incoming president of Rotary International, Shekhar Mehta, and that is serve to change lives. We all know that through service, Rotary gains strength. Through service, we give people strength. But it doesn't necessarily always need to be out-facing. It can be also inwardly facing. So Harrison and I have already talked about, and the rest of the board have started a discussion on how can we better serve ourselves, so in turn we can serve others. So especially for younger members, we're coming up with ideas about mentorship, about leadership skills, etc. So watch this space, as the Brits would say, for more developments. The other is each one bring one. Again, Rotary International President Shaker has said he wants to grow Rotary International worldwide from about 1.2, I guess it is, million people to 1.3 million people. Consider that every year about 3 to 4% retire, unfortunately pass on, leave Rotary for a variety of reasons, whatever. So we have a challenge, and again, Harrison has already picked up the lead on this. We already heard Eric Largo is going to join us. Thank you, sir. Looking forward to it. And he's already talking to another person, and so, but he can't do it himself. This is all about us all helping each other to find new members to grow this club. We don't need to be a club. When I joined back in 1989, we were 250 members. We're a lot smaller than that. But that doesn't mean that we're not doing as much work as the 250 members used to do. But we still need membership. And then finally, and if you think that current District Governor David Haven has infectious enthusiasm, hold on to your hats, because the incoming District Governor, Angela, has got even, sorry, David, but she's got even more infectious enthusiasm. Well, one of her things is to amplify Rotary. Rotary's a great institution, right? We think about everything that Eric just said that we, this little group, accomplished in 1 year, in spite of the pandemic. Multiply that by 30,000 clubs or something like that around the world, what we can do, what we do, whether it's polio, whether it's helping put water systems in Uganda, whatever the case is. But we don't tell the story. There was a presentation during one of the PETS training, or maybe it was after the PETS training. I've had so much training recently, I'm overtrained. Where a president of a Rotary club talked to the World Bank and they didn't even know that Rotary existed. Well, we're going to stop that. And there's a lot of people in the community here in Raleigh or Wake County that don't know that Rotary exists. So there is now a conscious effort, starts in Evanston, but is definitely going to be magnified here in Wake County, where we are going to take that proverbial bushel basket off the candle. We're going to burn the bushel basket, and we're going to get the word out. And again, everybody's got to help. Tom and Valerie are going to take lead, but it's not just them. It has to be everybody who is going to be participating. Yeah. So the other thing that one learns when one becomes president, and past president Jim didn't tell me this when he recruited me. That's okay, I know his mother, so we'll get this straight. They look at us from Evanston and they measure us. Okay, they don't measure us necessarily against the other clubs, but they look at us to see what are we accomplishing. And these are set not by them, but they're set by, in fact, the board met and we set them. Club membership, 115. That's on the presumption that the Southeast Raleigh Rotary Club is going to make their 20, and then they become a separate club. Right now, their numbers are within our numbers. So I've highlighted the key of the 24 factors, the key ones that I want to really focus on this year with your help. Participation. Everybody needs to be out there. Nicolette is already coming up with great ideas. We need to support her. We need to help the people in this community. Sponsor a new member. That's the each one brings one. Okay? More hands, easier work. Leadership development, especially for the younger members or members who want to come up and take a role in the leadership of this great club. But that leadership just isn't a Rotarian focused leadership training. It's for all different types of leadership. District training, they're great programs. They last for about an hour and a half, especially if they stay on Zoom, and the current plan is they are going to be on Zoom. Get your cup of coffee, stay in your jammies, whatever it is. It's usually a Saturday morning, and get some training. Okay. Eric, you mentioned that we gave, I think, a little over $15,000 to the Rotary Foundation. We're setting that bar. We're keeping that bar where it is. We also have individuals here in the club who, in addition to that, or instead of going to the Rotary Foundation, support Polio Plus. We're almost there worldwide at controlling Polio Plus. And that's because Rotary told the UN, this is what we're going to do. It didn't come from anywhere else. It came from Rotary. The other is RILA. We're going to reinstitute RILA. We talked to John Cannell. And here's the Amplify Rotary, the 4 meet, only asking for 4 media events. Tom, I think you put us in at least 2 this last year. It doesn't take a lot. We all have contacts. It doesn't have to be a full page spread. It needs to be a mention so that people know what we're about. Next, please. So I'm going to use this and stop here. I have lots more, but I've got a year to tell you what I want to do, right? Or what we're going to do. Do you see a wheel? Yes, no. Does anybody see a wheel there?
Yes.
Okay, I can tell you that you did not go to engineering school. It's a gear. Why is it a gear? Because it has teeth on the outside. That means that it relates or interrelates to something else. The other reason that you know it's a gear is it has what's called a key. And a key is where motion, in this case drive, is introduced into the mechanism. So can you go to the next one? So the board helps to drive the gear, but it's the members who make sure that we are engaged with the rest of the community and ourselves. So the group you just saw, and try it, we didn't install you. So I will bless you now, you're now installed. I'm sorry. These are new young generations. So he gets to work with Rotaract and Interact and all of that, which is really an important part of what we're about. So everybody in the club, the members, and we're a member, I'm a member. Yeah, I may have the title president, but what does that mean? I mean, I got a salary increase? I don't think so. So looking for it. But we work with the people that we serve. All right. We as a club raise a lot of money for bell ringing. The club that always beats us is half the number of members. I want us to beat them this year. But there's lots of other projects, whether it's being a sunflower ambassador or lots of other projects that we come up with, because that's what we're all about. Rotary is serving other people as well as serving ourselves. So think about the teeth on the outside of the gear and become a strong tooth. And we as a club will be stronger, even more so. Actually, can you go to the next? Go beyond. You don't need to know about me. You'll find out enough. So how do we do that? Well, we use Amplified Rotary to tell a story that hopefully and will, so I'm looking at everybody, is going to bring in new members so that we can better serve people's lives and change lives here in Wake County in the city of Raleigh. Questions? Everybody nods. Yes, this is the audience participation part of the class. Remember, I am a professor. So, all right, with that, thank you for the honor to be the president. Thank you to all of those who have agreed to serve with me. They'll probably rue the day, and I'm expecting a palace coup by December, maybe. Please make sure that everybody that you know within the club who didn't join us today, either on Zoom or here in person, knows what we're about. We'll post all of this information on the website, which we're updating as we speak. But also make sure that everybody that you know in the community knows what we're about. That's really important, because if we sit here and we have these nice meetings and we hear the great speakers Richard keeps coming up with, and yeah, we go out and we do certain things, but we don't make the impact that I know that we can, then what are we doing? We're not fulfilling our full potential, and that's not good. So with that, please rise. And let's say the four-way test of the things we say and do. First, truth. Second, third, and fourth, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you and welcome to a new year.
Thanks, Sarah.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. Great job.